Guten Morgen, or as some might say, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, in case you're watching this at a later time. Today, gentle little reminder to be kind, because it's important, and also a beautiful reminder today that you are so very loved, and I hope you know that. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Excuse me. And you know, when I sit to take this time to do these meditations with you all, a lot of times each and every day I'm interacting with many different people and or clients, friends, family, whatever it is, and these beautiful conversations ensue. I get curious about the things that I hear or learn or seek to understand about where people are at, how they think. I'm absolutely fascinated by the way that people think. I'm fascinated by how we evolve from so many things that we've learned, and even fascinated by how we hold on to some of those older beliefs. It's pretty amazing to me. In beautiful ways, how we carry tradition through in life, and sometimes in gnarly ways, how we hold on to limiting beliefs or painful things. So today, something that's come up quite a bit recently in conversation with people that I know and love is the notion of codependency and interdependence. And codependency is far more common than most people want to admit. Going back to what we've addressed earlier in the week, or many times in the past, our ego would rather be right, and our ego, it's very difficult for us to admit to something wrong, because as soon as we do, or to admit to a fault or a flaw, we now have an awareness about it. And some sense within might call us to task. Some sense of our higher self, that part of us, and forgive the word part because we're not parts, we are whole. But I think you get what I mean. That part of us that desires to be better requires the truth. And codependency is, like I said, very common, and it's also just such a spirit killer. What I mean by that is it really pulls us from the beautiful interdependence that we're all here for. Interdependency simply is the dependence of two people or two somethings upon one another. And if we look at the difference between codependence and interdependence, and we get to the root of these expressions, in codependency, some of the things that happen are we struggle to function emotionally healthily without the presence or existence of another person. And this shows up a lot in relationships, whether it be because we are not emotionally independent or emotionally healthy ourselves. It shows up a lot in addiction and these kinds of patterns where people are really heavily and deep into something. But interdependence is the understanding and the knowing of how to collectively and healthily work with someone. Along with codependence comes this incessant need to be involved with another person or another something. Most of the time it's people in one form or another. And so it's sneaky, because it feels good to be deeply connected to people sometimes. And it feels good to be wrapped up and really tied together with them. And we also, in our culture, have, I believe, a lot of a very false understanding of what interdependence really is and what codependence is, and the ways in which we become codependent and wrapped up. And sometimes what's wrapped up in codependency almost all the time is the need to be needed by someone else. When we stand on our own, we have to feel things on our own. When we stand on our own, we have to process things that are ours. When we're codependent, we're so tied up with someone else that oftentimes we're intermixing our emotions with theirs. We're claiming specific things that we feel and we're processing and we're going through as someone else's when they're really ours, but we have someone else to aim them at or direct them towards. Another one, we'll do a deep meditation on this as well, and it can be a touchy subject, so I tend to speak very mindfully, as I do with most things, but it's about empaths and how people identify and define empaths. That'll be a good one. Maybe we can dive into that tomorrow. But codependency, it's something so important that we must really recognize, and here's why. When we are codependent, we are emotionally unstable. Our emotions are so heavily tied to another person or other people that when they pull on a string, boop, it tugs on emotion. When they make a decision, think, it tugs on our emotion. And so we get this push and pull that happens oftentimes in relationships or in our lives. It kind of looks like this. We're going up and down, and our emotions are in such flux based upon our connection to this other person or these other people. And like I said, in our society, in our world, it's so common, and we want to be needed, we want to be close, we want to be wrapped up with somebody. I get that. And having a healthy perspective of how our emotions are impacted by our decisions is really important. And furthermore, interdependence means that I am fully responsible for my emotions and taking care of my life and taking responsibility for all of the things in my perspective, so that I can show up powerfully and supportive for others or someone else. So in relationship, interdependence looks like I am responsible for me, you are responsible for you, and because of that, we have two really solid people. And we're not too enmeshed together that when something happens to you, now I'm completely thrown off and I can't even function and focus on my day. When I don't get something that I want from that other person, it totally throws me into some emotional spin. These are ways that codependency shows up. And I titled this topic today, and we'll get ready to go into our meditation here in a moment. Interdependence is power, and it is. Because you will feel so much more powerful and connected to your gifts, your worth, and your capabilities in life if you're not attached in unhealthy ways to other people. It takes work sometimes to untangle, and it also takes a very honest willingness to look within yourself and to see where in life you might be codependent and maybe how that is impacting you. Oftentimes, it keeps us from spending time by ourselves. We don't want to be by ourselves. We don't want to think and feel the things that are really uncomfortable. But I will tell you this, one of the most powerful things you can do is learn how to be okay on your own 2 feet. That does not mean not seeing people, not spending time with people, not being with people. Our species, I 100% believe, is a community, is a collective species, is one that needs to be around each other. But we also are so much stronger and better for ourselves and the collective when we know how to navigate our own emotions. So interdependence, so powerful. Taking some time today in meditation to really maybe begin to peek at how I might unravel some of those codependent tendencies. And listen, fear comes up a lot of times when we look honestly at the possibility that we might be codependent. It comes up because what does that mean for me? I'll tell you what it means. Let's just throw it out there in all truth. It means you're going to be really freaking uncomfortable. It means that you've got to look honestly at how you feel about you. And it means you need to look honestly at what you need to do to make you better, because it's no one else's job and no one else is responsible for your emotional state. Just you. I am responsible for me, you are responsible for you. But the benefit of that, the benefit of us truly taking that level of responsibility means massive, massive amounts of love and abundance and growth and success and goodness and health and wealth. That's what we get when we really nurture ourselves and become strong. Who doesn't want to be around people who are strong and capable on their own? If you had to choose a team for whatever you are doing, you're going to choose people, if you are in a healthy relationship with your ego, who will make your team the best. Or codependence. Am I going to choose people that just stroke my ego and that maybe are less than me or depend on me and need me because it feels better to be needed, but I get to be the one in control? Yeah, you're going to tumble really quickly. And that's how it goes in life. So, interdependence is power. Meaning, really learn how to take responsibility for your emotions, the things that come up for you in your life. And really begin to look at how deeply enmeshed or tied to someone or others you are and how that's impacting your life in a way that isn't helping you to be your highest self, isn't helping you to be a good leader, isn't helping you to be a great team player, and isn't helping you to feel really, really good in your life. So let's do that today. So as always, I am going to start our meditation today with open hands and an open heart. I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm really happy you're here. I love you. I mean that. And I know you're going to be better for choosing this today. So let's be interdependent. Open hands, open heart, and with our breath today, we're going to breathe into our belly diaphragmatically and then into our chest. We're going to do a 6-second count breath. We're going to focus on just connecting with our breath, bringing those stress levels down, starting to teach our mind how to slow down. People always tell me, I have a really hard time getting my mind to stop going. Breath, breath, come back to breath. So let us begin. Breathe deeply in for 6 full seconds and then slowly let it out. Very good. Just connect with your breath. Let that be all this moment is about as you breathe deeply in and exhale. Maybe notice the body struggles to relax. That's okay. The more we do it, the better we get. Breathe deeply in. Allow the mind to slow. Just connect to your breath. Breathe deeply in. Exhale, letting go. The more you practice connecting to your breath, the more quickly in life you can get to a place of slowing down, of self-reflection, of personal observation, and of opportunity for growth. Breathe deeply in. Very good. Exhale, letting go. Let's do 2 more full deep breaths. Breathe deeply in. And exhale. Giving yourself permission to be calm and relaxed and centered. 1 more deep breath. Breathe deeply in. And exhale, letting go. Beautiful. Notice maybe already how the body is even more relaxed than the moment you sat down. Notice just the difference in the body when you take time to breathe. It's good to become aware of the things that help us so that we can mindfully and consciously choose them intentionally in our lives. So as we go through our body scan, let's start right up at the top of your head, the very crown. So whether that is for you, the crown, the highest chakra or center of your body, or you want to just envision the top of your head opening up much like a portal would. Let's open so we can invite in insights and awareness from Source, from God, from the universe, whatever your higher power is. Let's just be open to learning today, to being aware and to gaining insights, not for the sake of judgment, rather for the sake of expansion and growth. And so as we open up to that, let's pay attention now to the head and notice, is there any tension? Have you had any headaches? Have you carried a lot of stress? Do you move your hand to your head constantly out of frustration or struggle? Just be aware. Are those thoughts that you have playing over and over again taking a toll on your self-belief, on your self-love? Breathe deeply in and let's let those go. Remember, this is just about awareness. Become aware. That is all. As we move down the body into the neck and shoulders, let's release the tension there. Let's become aware. Are we carrying the load of others? As we look at our personal responsibility, are we carrying the responsibility of others on our shoulders too? Are we feeling guilty? Are we feeling responsible for other people? Let's let that go. Let's just choose to water our roots. Let's maybe redirect those thoughts as we release the tension into, as I better myself, so too may others better themselves. As I grow, you grow. As you grow, I grow. Releasing that tension, moving down into the arms. Relax the arms. Allow the arms to just fall at your side, and maybe notice if there is any stress or tension in those arms. What am I holding that is fatiguing me in life? What am I holding and squeezing for fear of losing it or letting it go? Can I just feel into open arms and an open heart, trusting that I have everything I need within, that God will give me everything I need at all times. The Source always provides. And so as we move down the body into the chest, breathe deeply in and feel the expansion of your chest and your heart, and just notice what it feels like when you expand. Is it open and free? Does love feel good as you expand? Is there fear? Is there restriction? Can we just breathe deeply and allow that to release? And maybe you need a few breaths to release that. Breathe in love. Let go of fear. Life is full of seasons. Let's just be in the one we're in, trusting that it is exactly what we need to right our path. As we move down the body into the abdomen and also the low back, are you carrying tension, stress, pain? Is our belly, is our gut health good? Are we putting good things into our body that allow our body to operate and function so well? Are we taking good care of our vessel? Can we just have a moment of gratitude for our vessel? Is your back sore? Are you feeling pain in your back because your posture is poor, because your belief in yourself is poor? Can we nourish our bodies? Can we nourish our minds to really be upright and open and well and positive and kind and loving and expansive. Just be aware of the things that you feel in your body as we move. Allow them to teach you. As we move down into the hips, are we squeezing, holding on to anything? Do we have any resistance? Are we carrying any remnants of pain or trauma from our past? There's no judgment here, just awareness. And how is that affecting us? Are we utilizing our sexual capabilities and desires and behaviors in healthy ways? Or is there resistance for fear? Or is there excessiveness for fear? Where can we invite self-love more deeply into our lives here? What is our body telling us? And finally, notice the legs and your feet. Are they moving well? Are they carrying tension? Are they strong? Are our roots strong for our beings? As you breathe deeply in, just become aware of the vessel that carries your incredibly beautiful and full and whole spirit. You are whole. You are not broken. We have pain, we have fear, and we are still whole. Become aware of what your body is telling you today about taking care of your vessel that holds your spirit. To become our strongest selves, we must align spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We cannot be our highest selves if we are deeply out of alignment in any one of these areas. So let's just take a minute to observe, to learn the ways in which our mind, body, and spirit is telling us what we need because we took the time to be in stillness. And before we begin looking deeply within, I want you to build a bed of gratitude beneath you. Sometimes this is a good idea when we dive deep inside, so that we always remember we are on a foundation of love and gratitude. Beneath you, plant the soil, lay the bricks, lay the foundation, whatever that is for you visually right now, for you to sit on, or whatever you are doing in the moment. Plant that gratitude wide and deep beneath you, so that all of your work is done in gratitude. Everything that flows, every seed that comes of insight and awareness will fall in this bed of gratitude. And instead of feeling defeated or discouraged today, no matter what we learn, let us feel inspired and encouraged as those seeds are planted in gratitude for us to water. Beautiful. And so now, let us take an honest look in our lives into ourselves and who we are. And do we know who we are? Do we like who we are? Do we love who we are? Let's observe for a moment today our emotional wellness. How do we navigate our emotions? Or are our emotions driving us? Are there relationships in your life which you heavily depend upon for your happiness? Are there relationships in your life which you heavily depend upon to navigate and operate in your world? To the extent with which, when they are swayed or moved, I must sway or move also. Am I so woven with anyone that really identifying my own goodness, taking care of my own goodness, becomes difficult? This is not a time for judgment. This is time for observation. In what ways am I very wrapped around someone or several someones in my life? The ways that we can become aware of this are when their emotions are deeply affected, our emotions are deeply affected. When they swing high, it pulls us. When they swing low, it pulls us. Interdependence will allow us to observe and expand or choose an emotion as we so desire, as it aligns to our highest self. Let's notice maybe how any of that enmeshment has affected our ability to really become our best selves, as it pulled us into choices or decisions, focus on someone else's life and what they're doing, so much to the point that we have neglected ourselves. Allow just awareness to come and insights to come. This time is about learning. Am I choosing to focus on someone else so much because focusing on myself feels a little bit scary? Or focusing on myself means learning, seeing, and feeling things that I don't really want to look at. It might be painful. It might be challenging. Maybe it simply means change, and the thought of that is a little scary. Maybe deep down I don't believe in myself enough, that I feel like I need the approval or validation of someone else in order to have some sense of worth. Maybe by making someone else a priority, I feel more important, maybe to them, and therefore I gauge my level of importance in life upon the need or approval of others. How can I begin to slowly unravel that, or quickly? What is one thing I can do to really ground myself, plant my roots, and take responsibility for me? What is one thing I can choose today that will bring me closer to center for myself, to connection to source first, to connection to myself first, instead of someone else? What is one thing I can do successfully today? And as I observe, at least one thing I can do to come back to center, to come back to me, to come back to openness and love. I must also be aware of how that decision is going to impact other areas of my life or that relationship. What can I choose that will feel good to me and also support creating a healthier connection or healthier connections? And as I choose that, am I prepared to keep watering that seed? Being fully aware of what before would pull me away from being grounded and rooted in my goodness and my connection to Source. Being mindful of the obstacles that we might face along the way of transformation is an important part of being able to sustain our strengthening and our transformation. A stronger me is a stronger us. And maybe this is simply a focus for you of how can I be a better and stronger me? How can I spend more time focusing on what will make me better instead of chasing unimportant things or wasting time or distracting or tuning out? How can I tune in? What will make me a little bit better than the day before? What will give me permission to be a little bit of a brighter light? All too often inside of codependency, we are comparing to the other person or other people. Comparison in life is necessary, that we aim at how to become better. And the way that we do that is compare to the version of ourselves yesterday, not outside of ourselves. This will cause a lack of self-worth. But let us compare to ourselves yesterday. Am I a little bit better today? And how? And what am I doing on purpose to create that? How am I steering this ship? Am I in control, or are my emotions in control? Am I deciding and writing my story, or am I allowing others to pull the strings and flip the script so that it suits them? Am I connected to myself and Source? Or are my ears highly tuned in to another? As we become aware today of how we can be a better version of ourselves, of how we can really grow our roots to create healthy connections and relationships, we recognize that sometimes we have to evolve and transform and change in order to create those healthier connections. And remember that we are responsible for ourselves and others are responsible for themselves. When I grow, you grow. When you grow, I grow. And we must know this and trust this and water those seeds of insight and knowledge and learning. Dig deep each and every day to truly come to know yourself, to come to understand why you choose what you choose, so that you can be a better version of you each and every day. And so that the process becomes desirable, because what we gain when we choose that feels so much better that it becomes a habit. It becomes a habit to focus inward and not outward. It becomes a need to focus inward and not outward. It's become so dependent on our own worth that we become interdependent along with those around us. Let us create a strong, solid, grounded, loving, compassionate, driven, creative version of ourselves, so that that is how we show up in partnership with anyone and everyone around us. Let us know our worth so deeply that others can't help but desire to know their own worth. breathe deeply in. Expand, 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 expand. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's breathe deeply in. Open, open, open. Let love in. And exhale. Breathe deeply in. Inviting that worth. Inviting the disconnection from the deep-seated need of others. Into trust, letting go. Breathe deeply in. Open up your connection to Source. And let go. Breathe deeply in. And let it go. Take 2 more deep breaths. Breathe deeply in. Really allowing all the awareness and the insights to sit and to seed. Breathe deeply out. And 1 more breath. Breathe deeply in. And let it go. How do you feel now? So good. So good. I hope you feel as good as I do, because I feel really good. So I see all these incredibly beautiful souls, and I love you all, and I'm so thankful you're here. I would love, love, love to hear anyone share about what came through for them today. Whew, that was a powerful one for me. Lots of nuggets coming into my awareness. And it's so good to see all of you beautiful souls. I want to give a little shout out to my brother Anthony, because I saw that he's on here. My fellow Leo and Lion. He is back from the jungle. I love you, brother. It's good to have you back. What came up for you about codependence and interdependence? How did this sit with you? Were you able to see and recognize maybe some areas in your life where you can create some shift? Or you can maybe take back some power and not give away your sense of worth or your ability and freedom to choose your emotion. When we wrap so much around others, our emotion gets pulled in so many ways, and sometimes we're so enmeshed that we don't even recognize our own responsibility with those emotions. Yeah? I know for me, it's been such a beautiful journey. I can absolutely admit to the great levels of codependence in my life that I have had in many of my relationships when I was younger. And perhaps it is fairly common that we are dependent upon our parents when we're little. As we grow, learning how to become independent and stand on our own 2 feet oftentimes really depends upon, did we learn that from those primary influences? And unfortunately, the truth is, for a lot of us, no. And that's okay. This isn't about judgment on anyone. It's simply about awareness. And so on my journey, as I've grown and learned really what interdependence means, and I'll tell you, even to this day, it's still something I have to be mindful of. That at times, deep connections with people, we can become really enmeshed, and we lose sight of our sense of worth, and we lose sight of our own ability to create. And that's deeply important if we want to create success. So I hope that today brought you a lot of awareness and a lot of focus in your own world about how you can create some shift to make yourself stronger. Because when you do, you are stronger for others. So much so. And you are a better partner. You are a better son or daughter. You are a better aunt or uncle or niece or nephew or friend or parent or mom or dad. You are better. You teach young people around you how to be independent, not by telling them, but by doing it. By doing it, by living that way, by loving yourself so much, by knowing your worth, that you're unwilling to be pulled by others' unhealthy emotion. Trella, I love the share. I feel great. I was able to see that all the work I've been doing on myself for the last 4 months is showing through, that I am in a very healthy place right now. How I am able to have healthy relationships with others now, and recognize when I am entering a codependent relationship and how to pull back. It's very freeing. I am with you, sister. So freeing. It's true. What Trella just shared, which I love, it's really true that as you really become more powerful and more emotionally stable on your own, really rooted and grounded, connected to source on your own, you really are free. In the sense that you're not caged by the need for others in any way, shape, or form. That's a really powerful statement. I love that. And so for all of you, if you did share and I didn't catch it, I will catch it, because I will make sure I always get back to you. I hope you have the best day ever today. I hope you make it powerful. I hope you water those seeds of insights that came for you. That is why we do this meditation, is to learn so that we can deeply transform. And so sending you all so much love today, and wishing you all the very best. And as always, and the more you do this, the more deeply you'll understand why I end every video with know your worth.